Christ is risen. I want to focus on the gospel reading today. I'm tempted to speak about current events, but I won't go there today. I'll leave the door open for that in the future, of course. There are some important spiritual lessons for us in the story of the paralytic's healing that may not be immediately obvious. First, a little information about the pool of Bethesda. There are many unanswered questions about this pool. Did the waters themselves have healing properties? What caused the water to bubble up? Was it really an angel that stirred them? Or was that just folklore attached to this particular place? Was the pool used by the Jews for ritual washing, or was it built by the Romans as a place for devotion to their God of healing? We don't know the answers to all these things. But all of that really is beside the point. The obvious point is that Jesus healed this man and sent him on his way on the Sabbath out of his remarkable compassion, which tells us a great deal about the priorities of Jesus. People before laws. Healing on the Sabbath, except in cases of life or death, was forbidden. Carrying a pallet was considered work, and work was forbidden on the Sabbath. Jesus ignores both these rules. We see these same issues rising throughout the Lord's earthly life. To this, Jesus had a response at another time when he said, quote, "The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath," end quote. In other words, people matter more than rules. I would like to think that is the reason Orthodoxy employs economia and pastoral care, because Jesus clearly did. Last week in prison, I wasn't in prison for myself, but for others, we took a look at one of the dialogues in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, a so-called Gnostic gospel. They heard about it and they said, "Father, why don't we look at that?" I said, "Okay, we'll do it." I never read it before. My guess is most of you haven't read it either. I found it fascinating, but you know me. Anyway, one verse among many stood out to me. Jesus addressed his disciples and to Mary Magdalene, saying, quote, "Go forth and proclaim the good news concerning the kingdom. Beyond what I have already given you, do not," I love this, "do not lay down any further rules or issue laws, lest you too be dominated by them." Is this an authentic Jesus saying? I'm not sure, but it sure resonates with other verses like this one from St. Paul in the letter to the Galatians. Quote, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." End quote. We, as you know, have not followed those instructions. Unfortunately, the church is probably as burdened with rules as was first century Judaism. Well, let's move on. Here are the lessons that I learned from this gospel. The paralytic lived the majority of his life dreaming about the future. Quote, "If only the water would be troubled. What if someone would come to help me get in the pool first? What if I wasn't paralyzed? Then everything would be fine." End quote. He probably said these things and things like it many times to himself as he waited by that pool all those years. Most of us ask what if questions or only if questions, hoping for a different reality than the one we are living. But living in the future is, of course, impossible. Living in the future is a path that always leads to disappointment and eventually despair. God dwells in the present moment, not in the non-existent past or the non-existent future. Into the paralytic's life walked the Savior, who showed him that he did not need the pool, nor anyone to help him enter it, nor to dream of the future or resist his present situation. The what-if questions faded away. Instead, the paralytic's questions were answered in these words: take up your pallet and walk. Right now, take up your pallet and walk. At this very moment, the healing waters came to him. He did not have to go to them. They were even now rising up within him. Did Jesus not say, out of your bellies shall flow rivers of living water? The light of Christ illumined him, focused him, and saved him from his fruitless way of life. Instead of hoping for life to be different and hoping for a better future, we can learn to recognize the Lord's presence in every moment of our lives and give thanks for all things. God is always present, and if we open our hearts and minds to this simple article of faith, we will experience a real and often extraordinary positive change in our lives. It is possible to live as St. Paul did, rejoicing always in the Lord, because we are always in the Lord, if we choose to inhabit the moment in which we live. I'll never forget what Metropolitan Kallistos Ware said once when I heard him speaking. He said, one of the gravest tragedies of the fall was that we can no longer be fully present in the moment in which we live. If we choose to inhabit the moment in which we live, life will change. Carol and I went to Scott Hakim's funeral and stayed in the Marriott in Teaneck, New Jersey this last few days. And I was literally astounded by the kindness of the employees. I've been in lots of hotels, but I've never seen this before. Everyone met us with smiles and openness and asking what we needed or if anything. So I asked one of them, I just got curious, why is it like this here? I've never seen this before. And he told me that 3 full weeks of training in hospitality was the reason. Their minds were molded by teaching and practice to be kind and of service. I think we should all go through that training. Although we are already going through that training, we might not have noticed, for the body of Christ is a training ground for compassion. I'm afraid many have missed that. There is a living pool of Bethsaida, not in Jerusalem. This living pool is the heart. The divine life bubbles up from within, not from without. We must redirect our attention from the distractions of life to the glorious center of our being and cultivate goodness. I'm going to quote the Gospel of Mary Magdalene once more. The Lord said, quote, "Find contentment at the level of your heart. And if you are discouraged, take heart in the image of your true nature," end quote. That is the image of God in which we have all been made. And the quote continues with this beautiful blessing. Quote, "Peace be with you. May my peace reside within you. Guard carefully that no one misleads you, saying, 'Look, he is here,' or 'he's over there.' For the Son of Man already exists within you." What glorious good news is that? In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.